Hi, Quinn Sisters. I'm happy you're here. Welcome back for episode number 2. With episode 1 out the way and all that anxiousness gone, I figured I would literally let my hair down and really start feeling myself into this podcast. I have a lot to say, and hopefully you're ready to hear, listen, and really interact with me on this channel. Today, let's talk about self-care, shall we? So I'm all about self-care. I am not against it, of course. Because I'm all for it, I also know the truth behind it. We've been sold this version of self-care that looks amazing on social media. You know, the massage, the wine, the spa day, bubble baths, girls trips, facials, you name it, everything that treat yourself energy. And I know countless times I would be the one out there trying to have that energy, trying to have that time, spend that time with myself, for myself. And that's the type we get to see very often. But today I'd like to go deeper. I'd like to go into the other side of self-care, the kind that we don't necessarily post, the kind of self-care we don't talk about, you know, the self-care that makes people feel uncomfortable, but that's also the self-care that saves you peace. You might lose people, but you'll have your peace. You'll have your sanity, because real self-care, it's not always cute. It can be a little messy. It can be very lonely, but it's always necessary. I'm your host, Unica. Welcome to Unica's Box of Chocolate, our space for hard truths, bold conversations, and everything in between. Here are some lessons that I've learned that made me feel empowered. First, it's okay to use that block feature. Use it. Use that block feature like your life depended on it. Let me tell you this. I had that ex, right? Let me preface that he cheated. That was the reason we're no longer together. Part of me felt like I needed to be the bigger person, to show them that I was so healed that I was ready to keep the door cracked open, you know, to remain cordial. But the moment that I would post a picture on social media, the moment that I looked happy, glowing, I noticed a pattern. That's around the time he will find his way in my DMs, or texting me or calling me out of the blue, telling me how much he misses me, how much he was thinking about me, or bringing back old-ish from the past moments that we had. And I went in and entertained that for a while. It was that last time he called about something very random. As soon as I hung up with him, I asked myself, why are you still entertaining this man? He cheated on you. He disrespected you. And yet you're still allowing him to do the same to you by staying in touch with you, by keeping that communication line open. I went in and blocked him. Seriously, calmly, no warning. I blocked him everywhere he had access to me. I started feeling that peace instantly. It felt good. It felt really good. Then I started adopting the same approach for all my exes. Especially we didn't have any ties. There was no reasons we're still talking. There was no reasons we're still maintaining some type of friendship. As I know this, giving them that little access to you was a sign of disrespect. And 9 times out of 10, it would cross that boundary and try to regain full access, even for a short period of time. Do not hesitate to block. If your peace depends on it, block, block, block. Lesson number 2, I stopped entertaining fake friends. Trust me, there are a lot of them. The ones that you're genuinely happy for, every little progress they make, every win, you're right there with them, supporting them, clapping for them. But when it's your time to win, crickets, silence, or it's a very slow clap with a fake smile. I had a few of those, and particularly I had a friend I thought we were friends, but there were many circumstances in life where she had showed herself. I remember when she bought her house, I was so happy for her. You would think I was a new homeowner. I was so happy. When I say I was happy, I was elated for her. When the time came for me to buy my house, I remember giving her the address. The U-Haul truck was right outside. We were in the process of moving. Everybody who was there was helping. Whether they're carrying a box, they were doing something. I remember her pulling in, right? She parked, walked by the truck while we were in motion. She entered the front door that was literally open because we were in the middle of moving, gave herself a tour of the house, went up and down, then came back out, only to say, "This is a nice house." And I was like, "Oh, thank you." Said, "I wonder how y'all were able to afford it." Heard her, but I kind of let it go from my head. I had a tendency to do that. I didn't address it right away. Then she took a deep breath and literally told me, "Hey, don't count on us." At that time, she was talking about herself and her husband. "Don't count on us to bail you out if things go wrong, if you can't afford the mortgage." Then walked away. She said, "I need to be somewhere," and got back in her car and drove off. She came back to the house a few times. We had parties, housewarming parties and things like that. And on top of that specific friend, I've learned so much from her that she needs her own episode at some point. But that's one of the lessons that I've learned into really cutting her out. After doing several things like that, I just fell off. I started being more and more distant to a point that we totally lost touch. Peace, I started feeling that instantly because she wasn't there to discourage me. She wasn't that negative Nancy in my head telling me I couldn't. That whole negative influence was gone. And I was already winning, but I kept winning peacefully. The very first time I remember putting my foot down was very unexpected. I had met someone and he made it clear from the get-go that he was a freak. And somehow in me, I thought I could match that freakish whatever he was advertising. We actually got into the relationship and I really started losing myself because I was being everything he wanted me to be. Everything that made me uncomfortable, I did it just to make him happy. And I remember one random night we got engaged into some activities and there was that specific position that he wanted to assume and that I never liked. I put myself down. It just came out of me and I said, "No, I don't want to do that anymore." Matter of fact, I never liked that position. He was shocked, but instantly I saw that respect in his eyes. He respected that. We actually talked about it and he did tell me, "Hey, why did you never bring that up?" I didn't know, but that night I did it. It felt good. I felt liberated. That was one of the first times I said no and felt really good about it. I had no remorse. I was just tired of putting up a front and being everything he wanted me to be. I was never that girl. I had to say no. And that to me was self-care. So, another lesson, another fake friend, but that was different. I cut her off because we really bonded over our single days. I had gone through a few relationships and I decided to really take a break, get to know myself because I was going back to back in relationships and I had realized that I had never taken the time to learn myself. I didn't know who I was really. So I decided to be celibate for 3 years. So we really bonded over that because she was single as well. Towards the end of the 3 years, I met my husband. Now, she was the first to know. And we did share a lot of details, information into how that was going, conversation, and she did everything in her power to discourage me. She started getting in my head, trying to tell me, "Well, you're settling for this. You can do better. I don't see y'all lasting. I wouldn't suggest you do that. He's gonna come here, get his green card, and leave you, abandon you. Don't do this, don't do that." And lo and behold, do you know that woman was sliding in my man's DMs in the meantime, trying to get with him? don't know if she was trying to get with him, or if she was trying to get with him to prove a point, or literally to break this. But I'm very grateful that he came to me and let me know what was going on. That friend, she never heard from me again. I literally cut her off. And if she's watching this podcast, that could be her closure right there, because we just stopped talking. I just didn't have the energy to go back and have that discussion with her and let her know that I know it was better that I just cut her off and choose to be with my man, who is now my husband. So to me, that was a form of self-care as well. Now, another example, at some point in my life, I had that epiphany. Again, it took me a while to realize that I was builder. I was more of a healer, a fixer. I attracted the ones who were so broken that nobody really wanted to have anything to do with them. And somehow I'd managed to take them on, get in a relationship with them, start building them back up, and rebuild their confidence to a point where they would actually go out there and cheat. And this was the pattern that I created for myself. Somehow I became that nurturer who was fixing all the broken ones. That's one of the things that I wanted to undo because it was killing my soul. It's never a good thing to actually get into a relationship and have dreams, set goals only for that person to go around and start cheating on you. I had to put a stop to that. And during that 3 years of me being celibate and getting to know myself, that was one of the determination that I've made. That was one of the decisions that I had made to myself. The next one will come already built. We will continue to build together, but I was done being the rehab person. That role of rehabbing broken men, I had to put a stop to it because it started creating a level of self-doubt in my head that I almost gave up on love. To me, that was self-care. Here's another form of self-care that you could practice. It goes beyond saying no. This one is simple. If you don't have the mental disposition, if you don't have the mental capacity to take someone's call or to respond to a text or a message, if you get that message and it does something to you that does not sit well with you, it's okay to take a break and reply later. It's okay to say no to that invitation. If you know you're going to be invited in a place where you'll be uncomfortable, or you'll be around fake people, or will you be around in an environment that does not align with your type of environment, it's okay to say no. It is perfectly okay to decline that invite. Anyone who's been interacting with me lately, they've earned a whole level of respect for me as I have for them. I'm no longer that person who would tell you, yeah, I'll think about it. Yeah, I'll let you know later. If I say it, it's very intentional. You invite me to a place and I know it won't work for me. I know I won't make it. I will literally tell you that right there and then, that time doesn't work for me. I won't be able to make it. Thank you for the invite. And guess what? It's the same in return. If I invite you somewhere and you can't make it, I'd rather you being point blank, very straightforward and say, no, that won't work for me. Instead of giving me the runaround and saying, yeah, I'll be there, girl, and only to not show up. You know, that is a form of self-care. Being able to say no, being able to decline an invite, being able to choose your peace and not go somewhere that you know for a fact will not work for you, will not be your typical environment. That to me is the biggest flags. This is the biggest, the best self-care practice you could actually adopt. Now, you might be wondering, oh my God, she seems to be full of issues. Look, everything that I'm talking about, I've actually taken the time to fully heal. I'm just out here sharing life experiences, things that I've literally been through. And this may not even be your journey. You may not even be able to relate to what I'm saying, and that's okay. It's either you haven't experienced it or will in the future or may never experience it. When you choose real self-care, I'm talking about the unseen, the internal self-care. You might actually lose friends. It might trigger people who were used to seeing a version of you that never said no, the version who was willing to make everyone happy. And now that you're showing your true self and you're feeling empowered, they may not like that. But you don't owe anyone any explanation for this new version of yourself. If they respect you enough, they will roll with it. You owe yourself peace, wholeness, truth. You owe that to yourself. You only have one life. You have to show up for yourself, even when no one claps, because this healing, it is for you, not for me, not for her, not for him. It is for you. So now, here's your check-in. What is one thing? What is one no you need to say this week? For real, something, somebody you've always been meaning to say no to. Do that for yourself this week and see how empowering you feel instantly. Try it. If you mean to say no deep in your soul, go ahead, say no. And no is a full sentence. No, no, but, no, because, no. Hey, if this episode resonates with you today, if there's anything at all that kind of related to you or someone you know, like, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with a friend. Just share it, just to spread the word. Many of us are out there wearing a mask, pretending to be happy, pretending to be okay, pretending to be someone we actually are not. This episode is for you. Now, I know this is episode 2, and it might have been a little uncomfortable. It was a bit uncomfortable for me to even record it, but here we are. Remember, we did talk about it. We did promise ourselves that we would keep it real. Thank you so much for joining. I will see you next time for more hard truths, bold conversations, and everything in between.